Welcome back to Ben's Eternal Perspective. This is video number 2 on what is a woman. Last week we went over the credibility as to what gives me the right to talk about this, and what gave me the right was my ability to understand and read what the Bible says. So we're going to be going over the Bible today as to what a woman is. The second thing we talked about was that a woman is an adult human female. Right? That is the biblical definition, but we found that that was just not enough. It does not give enough definition to give purpose, meaning, satisfaction, happiness towards women. And that's my goal of these videos, is to give women a direction, purpose, satisfaction in life by going over what a woman is, by making it well defined. So today we're going to be going over what is the value of a woman. That's our first add-on. Stay tuned. So what is the value of a woman? So I got a joke for you. And I'm a dad, so I'm able to tell these kind of jokes. All right, so Adam was walking in the garden. And he looked around and he saw all the other animals had helpers. They had animals like them. So he went up to God and he said, "Hey God, there's other animals, they have partners. Can you create for me a partner? Create for me somebody that can help me, someone like me." So God said, "Absolutely, Adam. I thought you'd never ask. It'll cost you an arm and a leg." So Adam thinks about it and he says, "Okay, God, what could I get for a rib?" Okay, maybe it's not a funny joke. I granted. It is sometimes some of you might even be insulted by this joke. You see, if you don't get it, it insults women. It says that women are not of equal value to a man. And there's this whole movement going on in society today that men and women, they're equal, but there's a patriarchy. Now, forget what you've learned about patriarchy. Forget what you know about patriarchy. Patriarchy nowadays is defined by a set of men who set up rules and systems and cultural norms that are designed to keep men above women. Right? That's what patriarchy means. And they say that the Bible is a patriarchal book, that history is filled with patriarchs oppressing women. Now, they have some reasons to believe this. They're not crazy, but I believe that they are wrong. They're just simply wrong. And I can tell you this because if you read the Bible from cover to cover, you could never come to the conclusion that men and women are not the same value. You could never come to it. All right? So reading the Bible, you can come to one conclusion, that men and women are equal. Allow me to just point to you one verse. Just one. And this is one of the most influential verses that have ever been written. And it comes from Genesis 1:27. Let me read it. "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them." So, in case you don't grasp the context and the meaning of what this says, it says that male and female together represent the image of God. The male and female together are what the Bible would call man, and together they represent the image of God. Now, some of you might, who know the scriptures and argue against it, they might say, "Hey, wait, no, this is not how Paul interprets it." Paul says that man was created in God's image and woman was created in man's image. Right? But you stop there. You don't read the whole context. He then goes on and says, "But man are made from women." All right, this is just clear context, stopping at one verse. But if you look at it, Paul's saying that together, male and female together bear the image of God. It's so important. You can't miss it. They are equal. So I can't stress this enough. So I want to give more clarity to it. I want you to understand the history the cultural impact this verse has had in America, in the country that you live. Unless you live somewhere else, and I apologize, but in America, this has had so much impact. Allow me to explain. The government of the United States was set up and founded to protect the rights of individuals, to protect human rights. And these are the rights that are given to them by God, not by the government. So the government never gives rights. The government only protects rights, only sets the rights that have been given to them by God. Allow me to read from one of the founding documents of our country. It's called the Declaration of Independence, if you haven't heard of it. It says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." So in case you don't catch this, these are the rights that are given to them by the Creator, by God. Okay? Now, you might argue that Creator could mean something else. But back in that day, Creator meant God, and no one misinterpreted that. Also, you could argue the fact that man here. Man, does it mean just men, or does it mean men and women? So if it meant just men, these were patriarchs. And they only thought that the men had rights, but the women did not. So let's take that assumption. Let's say that there is an actual patriarchy, right? And they did design the Declaration of Independence to oppress women. Let's just throw that out there. Now, fast forward to the 20th century, and we have the women's rights movement in full force, right? And a lot of the times, feminists get credited for the women's rights, for earning the women's rights, right? However, that's just not true. Women's rights were fought by Christians, fought by other people besides the feminists. It was everyone. A lot of people fought for it. And the Christians would use this verse. This verse had so much impact because the government had to say, wow, if men and women are equal, according to the Bible, and that men have rights, according to the Declaration of Independence, then women must also have rights because they were equal, right? Just common sense. So eventually women got rights. They got the right to vote. They got women's only spaces such as locker rooms, bathrooms, and eventually sports events. And if you do follow sports, I want you to know one thing about sports, is there never was a men's category of sports. And today you see men's 800 meters, men's 100 meters, you see men's this, men's that. But in actuality, there really is not any men's category. There's an open category that anybody could compete in. The problem is that women don't often compete in this category. Women don't often or can't compete with the men. And therefore, women's only sports came about. So there's the open category, and then there's the women's only category. So I'm not going to go much further than that. That's an important fact to know when it comes to politics and sports. But anyway, let me continue. So in other words, women got the right to do lots of things because of the fact that the Bible presses that men and women are equal. Now, after this movement, the feminists carried it on. The feminists just kept going. And they wanted to say that men and women are the same. That a woman can do anything a man can do. And, gosh, I could go into a lot of this. I could tell you lots of stories. I could give you commercials about how it was just fed into our minds. I could give you examples from Netflix and Marvel. I could give you all these examples as to this agenda that men and women are the same, or that women, in fact, are better than men at doing everything. I want to tell you this is just not true. All right? to make it short, men and women are completely different. All right, in case you didn't hear that, men and women are completely different. Yes, there has been polls and studies shows that men and women are similar, right? There's many similarities. And yes, they have more similarities than differences. But this does not mean they are the same, okay? They are completely different. Men and women are different. Which leads me to my last point, my last addition to the meaning of what a woman is. So far, our definition is this. We have a woman is an adult human female of equal value to a man. But even though they're the same value, they are completely different and thus have different roles. So if you stay tuned till next video, we're going to talk about the role of a woman because that's going to be really cool, really important. And I want to thank you all for listening to this video. Click a like if you'd like it. Until next time, God bless. Bye now.